Hi guys, welcome back to my lesson series again. Last time we were on this point where we discussed the form inputs, and I told you there are these are the few famous input form elements we are using. There are more as well. You can explore on different websites, for example on a W3 School or Bootstrap website or other websites. They all have much more data, details, content about these input elements. But what I will do is I will start coding without wasting your time. I will start coding. This is the table we created last time and all things. I'm keeping all the code here just in case if somebody wants the exact as it is, I can copy and paste in the comment box or in email. But anyway, today we are going to start the HTML forms, and as I said, the form before I start making a form, I will create a sort of working area a bit nicer so that you can see in a better way. I'll explain you when we reach to the HTML5 bit. I'll explain you what is the div and why I'm making. For now, I'm just creating a div with a class name my div, or I can call it HTML form, and within that div I'll create everything. Don't worry about it. I'll explain in much more detail the HTML5 all elements in detail once we cover the basics of HTML. So div is basically a container. You can put all your HTML into this. So I'll create my form within this, and also I'll see if I can increase the size of the text font size. It looks maybe a bit smaller, so view, forget about it. I'll check later on. I'm not going to waste on time on that, but in the next video I'll try to increase the font size of the Sublime. So form element, as I told you, if you type the forms are going to be like less than sign form, greater than, close, / form. That is basically telling the computer this form is starting from here and ending here. Now there are two things I told you. First, there's a action of the form, which is important. Right now we are sitting on HTML page, index.html page. We can write just action index.html, but most of the time when we do the real project, I normally do whatever page we are working on, or we can assign action page.php. This is important because the script to store into database or send an email, if it's a form, inquiry form, a contact us form, what happens is when you, for example, if I go to one of my own created for example website, here in front of you, you'll see for example, if I go to duro.co.uk, if you want to contact this company, what you will obviously do, you'll go onto their website and try to find their either phone number, or you find their contact us page. So if you obviously this is all done in PHP, and there is a Bootstrap and HTML and all these things, but for now our focus is on the form. So if I want to contact this company, want to give a call to them to know more about their services, their business, I'll provide all the details, and then I press the button and this email goes to the business relevant people who deal with the day-to-day inquiries, depending on what type of inquiry it is. So the action part we will cover in the PHP side, but for now I will tell you when you write script for something like this, you will be obviously providing the action page on the contact us page. In this we are working on HTML, we are providing this one. I'll provide, for now we can just page write index.html. And second thing was the post, the method. Method should be post. Now post method, this tells the computer like when the submit button is pressed, the values will be posted somewhere. We post the values and then we process in PHP, we store a copy in database, we send emails to people, and they get notifications in their email, on their phones, or in their desktop software, wherever they're using. So that was the action and the method. You can get you can write the method as a get and post. We'll cover in much more detail, excuse me, when we get into the lessons where we start the scripting of the forms. So for now, I'll keep that as a post. Then when it comes to make a form, first of all, I will in my list, I thought I can tell you about the input. Input is basically to get a text value from a user, whoever using this sort of web page to contact us. And input may have few attributes. Well, you'll have to provide these attributes, as otherwise you cannot do something really useful. So first thing is you need to tell computer what kind of input it is. So I can say I want to receive a text. Then other important is you can give sort of name to this input value. Name, again, these are all attributes. That's the reason I covered the HTML attributes in a previous lessons. Name, you can give it any name depending on, for example, if you are getting, for example, if I make a paragraph here and write, let's say I'm taking we are making a student or contact us page, sorry. So if I write your full name, or just your name, and then I can write here, hey, this is going to be the name of a person, and then you can provide also another value. If I just quickly save that and see what's coming on to my page, so if I go back and open my web page, you'll see that the value is coming onto the screen where the name is on top, and you can write something here into the input box. So there's so much you can do with that. First of all, the reason I created this div up here, HTML form div, I can give it a bit of styling so it looks nice onto the screen when we see. First of all, I can give a width to this div. I can provide the name of the class, and I can say the width of this is let's say 80% of the browser, so it looks bigger to you and easily you can see. So it's not going to be visible straight away. Then I can add a border, 1 pixel solid gray, and then I can say margin 0 auto. And then if I go back, as you can see, it's coming into the middle and it has a sort of border around it, and I can add a bit of padding, maybe 30 pixel, so that there is a bit of breathing space. And I can also make this width, sorry, input bit nicer through the CSS. And don't worry about the CSS, we'll cover CSS in much more details. For now, I'm just using a basic commands. If you don't understand them, just ask in the comment box and I can tell you a bit more about it. So what I can do is I can copy the same sort of class name at top, and then I can say the input in this div, can you make the width of the inputs, all the inputs I'm going to use is let's say 50% of, or 500 pixels. I can say I'll the widths in percentages and pixels will cover in much more details. Why do we sometimes say pixels and sometimes it's basically discussion of a responsive and non-responsive website, so I'm not going to start that topic. So if I just quickly save, as you can see, the width of the input is increased. I can do one more thing, is I can add in input, I can add a bit of padding, 5 pixel, so it has again more breathing space of, it's a bit more wider input. Or you can make maybe 8. 8 pixels, yeah. So this is looking quite good actually. So what I can do is I can we can add more things like placeholder. As you can see, if I write placeholder, enter your name, or you can say enter your full name, enter your enter your full name. So if I refresh, that should come up as a, as you can see, when you go on a websites, they have a sort of indications for user, like what to put in there, and you can give more instruction. It should be text, or it shouldn't be that much long, and this you can do so much. Or you can, there are more attributes I would like you to explore. You can have a value. For example, if you don't want to show a placeholder here, you can give it a value. For example, if you give a value and you want something very specific, for example, when people submit the form, and let's say there are 10 fields then submitted, then you don't want that value to disappear. So you will be retaining the same value in the form when they submit, if there is any error. So you can say value, uh, for example, Hasib Anjum. So that should come up as a current value. As you can see, this is different to the placeholder. So this is like a actual text. Hasib Anjum. You can, if you want to write Mr. Sorry, not me, Mr. or something as a value, or you can do so much with it. Next thing is how this is the I'm gonna change back it to placeholder for now. And what can do is, yeah, your name. Similarly, you can do you can create an input for example, uh, um, type is equal to, you can say something like checkbox, and again you can give a name. I mean, it's good to make something like properly. You can have your gender, maybe your gender, and you can give it a name. You can say um, name is gender, and you can say the value in this particular, if somebody selects this sort of a checkbox, the value we pass on is a male. And you can provide sort of title to this, human readable text here, and provide sort of not line break. So if I just save this and click, as you can see, although this is a styling element here, you need to show the uh, if I just remove it, it's not coming with that. You need to make an inline sort of styling. And if I, oh sorry, if I give a sort of class to this, and if I give my input, and if I just copy that class, and here I just say only apply the styling to my input. So what's gonna happen is, at the moment, that was making it to a full width checkbox 80% or whatever we gave in that. So that was applying the same class. This is important to understand, is basically if you access any element through the div name and apply on all inputs, it's going to apply on all, no matter is a radio box or checkbox or any, if you write the input, it's going to apply the same styling. So it was applying a width of 500 onto the same. So now I have created a different class for this. So this is gonna, the width will be applied on only those elements where we have my input class. Next thing we can add is obviously gender. You need to give all genders here. So you can give, for example, second same name is this one, and this time you can write a female, and you can write, for example, female here, and female, and people can choose their gender. So if something someone is not sure about, for example, there is prefer, some people not do not want to say about, prefer not to say. So you can say that's the third value people if you don't want to say. Okay, so that's the way you add sort of checkboxes. They are, you know, clickable checkboxes. Then you can create, similarly you can create for example I would say this should be, what I will do is, that can be good example for, because excuse me, one person can be at a time male or female. So this should be, I think this should be a radio button rather than a checkbox. Good thing about a radio button is, radio buttons you can only select a one value at a time. So if you now see, you can select one value at a time. You cannot be male and female both at the same time, obviously. So so what you can do is you can use a radio button for the gender, and for this you can use for something else. For example, your you can say area of interest, and the area of interest you can give a name, area of interest, area, you can copy the same name. An area of interest can be, you know, if it's a site, maybe you are talking about automotive inquiry, or commercial, sorry, industrial inquiry, or you people can talk about residential, sorry, residential. So you can write the human readable as well. So if you do this, so area of interest, obviously any company, oh sorry, my computer giving some error and gone busy. What I will do is I'll show you input in a next video, and because my computer's, oh, it's back again. Yeah, so if I save and go back and refresh, as you can see, the area of interest is automotive, industrial. People can select, they can be interested in two areas or all of three. So you can put anything depending on what sort of business you are dealing with, and what sort of, you know, or services people offer on their website. This was all about the input and checkbox and radio button. I think my video is going a bit too long. What I will do is I'll carry on the more tags in the HTML forms in the next video. Stay tuned, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel by clicking on the bell icon so that you keep receiving the new videos. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.